We at Vynecrest Winery got started in 1974. That was the first year we grew grapes. We are the oldest vineyard in Lehigh County. So that's 32 years ago. The grapes we planted in 1974 have been taken out of the ground, but that was more so just for spatial reasons of how we're going to lay out our vineyards. But they were producing all the way up until 1997 when we took those out. We started with 10 acres of land, and we've now grown to 80 acres total of land, producing 17 acres of wine grapes on our property here. And we started to become a licensed winery in 1989. Up until then, we were just producing grapes for other local winemakers or for our own consumption. Since then, like I said, we've grown to 17 acres of wine grapes. Everything we produce here is estate bottled. Lehigh Valley just got named AVA, our own viticulture region, in April of 2008. And so we're real proud to be producing 95% of what we do here from our own vineyard, calling it Lehigh Valley Vynecrest Wine Estate Grapes. This is a very exciting time for us seasonally here at Vynecrest. We're getting into November, December. You see a lot more people maybe drinking wine a couple times a year around the holidays. So we really try and do a couple wines and a couple events this time of year to really attract the periphery drinker, to kind of get them on board with the rest of us who drink wine as a daily form of habit. A couple of those coming up. Nouveau weekend, a big wine French holiday that we get involved in, third weekend of every November. We'll start our Nouveau Beaujolais bottling actually this week, and that'll be ready for the third weekend in November. We use actually the Gamay Beaujolais grapes, which are the traditional French grapes. We'll have that released in 2 weeks here, the big weekend, live music, a lot of fun. And then we go into our winter months. November, December, we have a spiced winter red, and we do a lot of heated served spiced winter red. It's typical Glühwein wine. Our family's background is Swiss German, so we really enjoy the Glühwein style of wine in the winter months as a seasonal wine for us. And that takes us right around into pruning season, which picks up in February and March. So busy few months ahead of us here. One of the questions we really get asked a lot here is, what do you do over the course of a year? Again, we just finished up harvest about a week ago. We're in early November right now here at Vynecrest. And the biggest misconception is people think we just take off down to Florida for about 3 months and come back in when it's time to go back to work in the vineyard. And one of the really cool things I love about being in this industry, we are a small estate bottled family winery. And what that means is everything that we make in our vineyard, in our wine cellar, is grown here in our vineyard in our 17 acres. Now that's a different kind of animal than some people who would buy juice or buy fruit. It really is an all-encompassing thing over the course of a year. And I like the fact that with the seasons change, there's a different job that we may have to do, and it keeps things very fresh. For example, right now we're going to the wine cellar from November to December to January and February. We're going to be in the wine cellar working on all these grapes and these wines that we just picked. When we pick up again in March, it turns to a very retail-oriented time of year where we're dealing with a lot of customers in the selling part of it, as well as being very agricultural again when we're outside in the pruning process. Throughout the course of the summer, it's a both mix of events, festivals, things here at the winery dealing with customers, as well as being outside in the vineyard itself. So there may be a day where I'll go ahead and talk to 50, 60, 70 people in the wine cellar selling wine. The next day I'll be out in the vineyard somewhere along these 20 acres, and I won't have a phone ring for about 6 hours. So the variety of what happens at a small family-owned estate bottled winery, it really is a 12-month process that changes basically on a daily basis. And that's probably what keeps people involved in it and really brings out the passion in what they do, because I guess the old adage is, if you're not going to do it, then who? Get a lot of questions about what's it like growing up on this and how I started and my parents started. My parents started this business in 1974. My father worked as a chemical engineer at Air Products. My mother was an editor for Rodale. She was editing a book on homesteading on 5 acres of land. And they wanted to do something with the land out here. It was all cornfields, not like it is now. They decided to plant some grapes. So I grew up, my brother and I, with grapes, with a vineyard. At that point, we weren't selling the wine yet, so it was just mostly growing grapes for local, other grape growers, winemakers, or doing it on our own, some homemade wines. So, interesting way to grow up. I didn't really think of it as the romantic lifestyle that most people do. It was more so just chores on the weekend and just being outside a lot, working outside. My father worked 50 hours a week, would come home on most weeknights and weekends and work another 30, 40 hours here in the vineyard. And you know, you look back and you think the guy was crazy, but he had a dream. And you look at where the wine industry now is, Pennsylvania, it's really grown to something where there's 120 wineries in Pennsylvania, and it really is a kind of cool way of life.